Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to the Dreamers Live podcast. We're so thrilled to be back with you. I am Jay Webster. This is my co-conspirator and wife, Ann Jeanette, as you well know.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, and I'll try and remind you when we're done, if you want to hit pause for just a second, would you please text or message this podcast to a friend? So more than just sharing it or liking it or all that stuff, which is fantastic. Maybe there's someone that you think might enjoy the show or that the show would kind of speak to or would encourage. Would you please pause and send this to them? You can email it. You could text them the link. Whatever you want to do, we would sure appreciate it because we want to connect with more people and we want to connect with your friends and be their friends.
And the easier, I know for me with technology, the easier somebody makes it. If they send me, there's just so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
If somebody sends me directly a text link and all I have to do is hit it, then that makes all the difference.
Yeah,
so we would love for you to do that.
Yeah, so we have, of course, had lots of great podcasts, including the last one on being a safe place and how to use our words and all that kind of stuff. And we would love to be a part of that conversation with other people too. So please do.
Thank you so much.
So we have been, no surprise, burning the candle at both ends.
The candle is burned, as we would say.
And we were on the recovery heels of a big concert last night. You were at the Frank Phillips Mansion concert series.
Yes, it was fun. It was so much work to get ready for that, but had a lot of guest musicians, including our daughter, Evangeline, played cello on a song, and then my brother and my sister were both in town and available, and they joined me for a couple of songs. So it was a really, it was a good night. The weather was awesome.
Crowd loved it. Yes, so typically we don't know, this is like your fourth year to be part of this concert series, and we have been out there in full sun and full heat.
Oh, dude.
And then through a series of events, this date got kind of pushed back into October.
Right.
And we were delighted. And
it was
we hit a little, just 70s, this little nook. So the day before we were in the upper 80s. Today we're going to be in the upper 80s. This weekend it'll be like summer has come back, even though it's October.
That's wrong.
But yesterday, we walked into perfect weather.
It was so great.
And a little thing about us, not many people know this or believe this, but fall is our favorite season.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Fall is
What
the
is
best.
it about fall that you like so much?
It's interesting. I was actually thinking about that. I love spring as well. I think everybody loves spring and fall, the transitional seasons.
Yeah.
And spring is so exciting because the garden comes back and everything's in bloom and you're headed into, kind of a beautiful weather season, outdoor parties and events.
Yeah.
I think for me, fall is transitional, but it is leading into I feel like it's a peaceful or a quieter time or something.
Yeah.
It's not, because the holidays are coming.
Yes,
so it's fun, but I love to be cozy, and you and I are we tend to overbusy ourselves with everything, including house projects. And so sometimes it's nice when it's so cold that you just cozy up and hang out with the people that you love. So there's something about the transition and the beauty of that.
Well, in our area of the country, in the beautiful state of Oklahoma, the center of the known universe.
Yeah, it is lovely.
Yeah, we get all four seasons. So it is a true transition season for us. And we get, it's not, ultra cold. It's not ultra hot anymore. There's a little tug of war back and forth. And there is something about the fleeting nature of fall that kind of makes you want to take it in and enjoy it before it gets winter.
And the crispy weather that comes, I like crispy. You get crispy in April, but it's like you're coming out of the cold.
Yes, right.
In October, it's crispy and you're headed into that. So we love it.
Well, October also for us marks in our case, the 3rd anniversary of doing Dreamers Live events.
Wow, has it been that long?
It's been 3 years, and we, because of Dreamers Live, we have been able to connect with tens of people. No, we over these 3 years we've done, I don't know how many events. We haven't been keeping track of the number of live events we've done.
Yeah, book clubs. Connection, socials, that kind of stuff.
Well, and this is so not really where we thought we were going to land when we started Dreamers.
Right.
We initially started as kind of an online community. We thought we were on the heels or coming out of COVID.
Right.
We were desperate to connect with people in some way. We really built the whole thing around creativity and encouraging people to be creative. And then in the midst of all that, the sun came back out, COVID relaxed, and we thought we could do a live event. Let's see where this goes.
Right.
And it ended up being a real thing.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think people are online enough, and what they really wanted was to connect with other open-hearted and open-minded people. So it was kind of a social experiment on our behalf.
Yeah.
And then we found out that the live events are really where it's at in terms of getting to know people and creating community and connecting.
Yes.
And we at all the events we have like kind of a core group, and then there's always new people cycling through. So I'm excited to see as we keep building, where it goes. And then the podcast has been a cool offshoot for those people that aren't in the cities that we're doing the live events in, to be able to still be connected to the things that we're thinking about and talking about.
Well, and we've enjoyed it as it's kind of evolved. I think when we first started the events, we thought, okay, well, this will really appeal to people. We wanted people to experience creativity, and we wanted to encourage people in creativity. Yeah. And then we discovered that a lot of people just don't identify as creative. Yeah. Which is kind of a misnomer in the sense that, that term creativity, we tend to hold that for the anointed few. If you are a painter, or you're a writer, or you're a sculptor, or something like a musician, or something like that, those are creative people. And so trying to break down that term or that thought process for people and say that really creativity at its simplest form is kind of problem solving. Yeah. So anyone, there are creative lawyers, there are creative landscapers, there are creative stay-at-home parents and all that stuff. So, but people just couldn't quite turn that corner on on creativity.
They would say, I want to come to Dreamers, but I'm not creative. Right. And I was like, no, you are. Everyone is creative. And so then we started sort of taking that out. We didn't want that to limit people. But I do think that the things that we end up talking about Dreamers Live and on the podcast are sort of more creative or new ways of thinking about something. Yeah. I feel like there's a freshness or something to our desire is to look at things in a different way, in a new way. And so I feel like it still does inspire, I hope, creativity in people. Yeah.
Well, and I think that especially for those people who have been with us at a number of events now, there's a level of trust that they have with us, and with the people who help us with Dreamers, but then also with you and I. And so I think now they feel more comfortable going to some of those places. And we've had some really amazing conversations. I'm thinking about how we've even talked about the thoughts that come into our minds and what we do with those thoughts, and talking about kicking certain thoughts out, that kind of stuff. That's been really engaging. We talked about things like how to survive the holidays with your family.
Oh, we need to roll that one back out.
What we need to do is
do a review.
I think maybe it would be surviving the election with your family.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's a good idea.
But some of the same rules apply on that stuff. So that was a funny night, and we've talked about the value of being wrong. We've talked about the power of music. We even talked about the idea of about writing, and that writing is such an important tool, whether you are, quote, a writer or not. But there's such a relief and release that happens in putting things down. And that was the night we talked about, when Evangeline was born. We waited obviously a long time to have a kid, 18 years, and then kind of at the last minute, I thought, okay, well, let's have a kid and see where this goes. And so we did, and I remember thinking, okay, because you and I are kind of warped this way, I thought, well, what happens if something happens to me now that we have a kid? Because that's your whole poetic thing.
Yeah, that's how we think.
The irony of it all, you've waited 18 years, finally decided to have a kid, and then all of a sudden you die.
Right. That's nice. Have a great day.
Just letting you in, these are the thoughts we normally have. We think about death daily.
Yes, it's a special thing.
And so I thought, okay, before it gets to be too late, I want to write down her origin story, essentially, how you and I met, what our lives were like, how we decided to have a kid, and what she means to us. And so, if anything should ever happen to us, then she would have this.
That. Yeah. And it ended up being awesome.
Yeah. And so that particular document is not expressly well written, even though that I do a lot of writing.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the point. The point was, this was information I wanted to pass on to make sure it was down somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
And she got that. So, and we've had panels out. We've talked about the way that our kind of minds are shaped and everything. But when you think about Dreamers, you think about it in the positive way. When we do the live events, it's a lot.
It's a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of pre-work that week.
What is it about that series of events, or what is it about that makes you want to continue to do those events?
They are a lot of work. It's hard to, I think people have really good intentions, and we see people all the time, I really want to come to DreamersLIve. It sounds like so much fun, something I really want to do. But people are busy, but beyond that, I think people aren't as great as they used to be at maybe keeping their word or keeping a commitment sometimes. Yeah. And so I think the hardest part for us is people say, hey, make sure you put me on your list and reach out to me. And we're like, okay, man, we're going to do it. We've got our list. And then you get to that week where you're reminding people, hey, are you coming? Are you coming? And they're like, oh, yeah. So that's the part that is the hardest, I think, for us. Yeah. Although that feels like it's getting easier as our core group grows and people invite people. I think my favorite part is seeing everybody show up. And sometimes people are a little bit nervous because, it's like a cocktail party, but we also have conversations and we're talking about certain things that are going to be helpful. And so when I see them come in, and then you and I are pretty good, and our Council of Dreamers helps them meet other people. Right. And then you see those conversations taking place, and you see them being excited and meeting new people. There's like an energy to that is pretty special. Yeah. And I kind of think of us like, I was thinking about this last night when some of the people that came out to see the concert. I think of us like people collectors. So we're kind of going along and we see people and we're like, hey, you seem really open-hearted and open-minded. You need to come do this thing with Dreamers. And so we're always collecting people. Yeah. And so I think that is my favorite part of it is connecting people and collecting them. Of course, I enjoy the conversations that we have and listening. And then there's always kind of the after party that we have to kick people out of. There's always some late stayers, and we're like, thank you so much. This has been great, but my pajamas are calling. But I think it's that energy.
You're so right, though. I mean, when you invite people, or people will say to us all the time, hey, I want to make sure I get to Dreamers. I can't wait to get in.
Oh, man.
And what they really mean is I can't wait to have the option of going to Dreamers. So,
it is so
like the idea of going places, I just don't like going places.
Yeah, and that part gets frustrating, probably because in other areas of life, since we are always doing events and hosting concerts and helping with things, it takes a lot of inviting.
Oh, man.
And there are times where you just think, I don't want to invite anyone to anything today.
Yeah, but it does take an awful lot of trust for someone to show up to an event like that, because we always struggle to try and really put into words what Dreamers is. You really have to be here to get it. And so to show up sight unseen, or where you don't really know what's going to be required of you, or you're going to be asked to do something, or you're going to be standing up or reciting something or whatever. Is it a poetry thing where you're going to have to read something and snap your fingers, or whatever it is, which is none of those
Nothing
things.
wrong with that.
But no, but it does take an awful little bit of courage or faith or trust
to show
up. And
did I tell you what one of the new friends that we invited that came last time, she goes, she finally came, and she brought her boyfriend, and she goes, well, when it was over, this was actually really cool and really fun. I kept waiting for the timeshare presentation at the end. I was like, what
I don't know where that came from.
And she goes, well, I don't know. I guess we just felt like we were going to have to do something at the end or be sold something. Yeah. So that made me laugh.
Sign up for something.
Yeah.
Or
I was like, nope, not at all. Just come and have free drinks and food and meet some people.
Yeah. So most people, if they show up to a Dreamers event, if they get here, it's because somebody else they trust is already here.
Invited them. Yeah.
And that's such a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And that's so, we do that a lot. So, for us, we always say, if you invite a first timer to Dreamers, then, of course, both your tickets are free. We just want people to be here.
Exactly.
And I think the other part of it that I really love is, after 3 years, we have introduced so many people to other people that are now really close friends. So people that were friends with us, and we have friends from a lot of different circles, and you get all those people into a room. Yeah. And then over the course of a couple of events, or maybe the book club or something like that, suddenly they have now their own friendship together, not through us, but with each other.
That's probably my favorite thing is, and I will even go so far, I can be assertive when need be. You might know that about me. But I will see two people, especially if they're by themselves at Dreamers, and if I know them and I'll be like, hey, Sarah, this is Susan. And then I'll introduce and I'll say, you guys should be friends. Because I know enough about them to know that they would have something in common. And then I'll toss something out like, Sarah, don't you have a son in middle school? Oh, Susan does too. And then they talk and then I exit. And we're like, but that's, and then you see those people, like you said, after a few events, or they end up coming out to hear music too, and they end up forging friendships, which does take some work. It takes some intention to create community. And so I feel like the neatest thing about Dreamers is helping facilitate that.
Yes. We are a bridge between, in our case, people from different walks of life, different parties, different theologies, all those things. And so introducing people to people you would not otherwise probably have a chance to meet.
Yes.
And so your world of understanding and your world of connection does increase. And it increases in bite size. I mean, it's not like you're thrown into a group of a couple hundred people.
No.
You're meeting one or two people at a Dreamers event that are going to add to your life at some level, and they're going to expand your worlds in some way. So that part is really, really powerful. And then I do like the idea that we get to introduce topics or ideas or thoughts to people that maybe they hadn't considered in that light. And most of what we talk about is stuff that's applicable to your life, stuff that you can put into action, and that if you, with just a little bit of that, it will bring help. Help you communicate to other people better, help you consider things that maybe you hadn't thought of before, or in the case of like the last one we did on a safe place, it's really just drawing awareness. We're not inventing rocket science.
Exactly.
You're just drawing awareness to something that's already present in your life, and then the act of being aware of it somehow makes it more significant and more effective.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like as we evaluated, we used to be like, we're going to do this annual event forever. Like we would start a 5K race. And it's in the first annual. And so I think in our many years of hosting events and trying to connect people and being involved even in our downtown development, we have learned to not make those huge deadlines on ourselves. Like there are seasons for things. So we even thought maybe Dreamers will be just a couple of years after COVID, and we'll just see how it goes. So we have learned to reevaluate seasonally and say, okay, do we feel like this still has mojo, so to speak, or there's still good movement here? And so when we reevaluated before starting this, be like our third season of Dreamers, we realized that it has done a lot of good. And I feel like that the things that we talk about at Dreamers, as well as on DreamersLIVE, as well as the Dreamers podcast, I feel like they're adding to people's lives. Like you said, there's nothing huge or revolutionary, but you're a thinker, and just by those observations and and I am too in different ways, those conversations, I feel like some of the things that we observe and we're thinking about can add to people's lives, because we say a lot around the, in the Dreamers community, that being human is hard.
Yeah.
And so if we can help encourage people in some of the things that maybe we've come onto or are learning in our own life, I feel like that's a good thing. So in both the podcast and the live events, I do feel like they're simple things, but they can help.
Yeah. Well, and then on the other part
it's not the huge amounts of money we're making.
No, that's the truth of it. But there, you mentioned this thing about community, and anyone who's spent any time with the podcast or the live events knows how important community is to us, and how valuable that is. So it's been very sweet now to be this far in and see how proud a number of people are of the Dreamers Live events, how proud they are to invite people and to feel like they're part of something that's really special. And even our opportunity to go to different cities, Oklahoma City, Tulsa. We've got a podcast or a Dreamers Live event coming up in Broken Arrow,
Taking
Oklahoma.
it to the BA.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be fun.
And it's sweet because there are a lot of people who are from those communities who have been a part of this.
Yeah.
But those who are there have been waiting for an opportunity for that. And so their excitement about being a part of that, that's really cool to me. But this thing about creating community and maybe adding some depth to community. So, we talk about when somebody does show up to Dreamers Live events, that you're going to meet people and you're going to know them at a level that when you see them at the supermarket or at the YMCA or at the farmer's market or whatever, you're going to be able to have a conversation with them. Oh, yeah. Hey, it was great seeing you at Dreamers. How's your daughter? How's that work thing? Did you get that mole removed? Whatever it is. It's going to be. I'm
not sure the mole's coming up when we get
but you can do so much more than just wave at them or acknowledge them.
Hey, girl.
And so this thing about, I don't know if community's ever been as important as it is right now.
Yeah.
Certainly for us. And so the idea of creating community with some depth to it, with some intimacy to it, where you are adding to someone else's life and they are adding to yours and we are combining. We talk an awful lot now about the information wars and about disinformation and about political divides and all that. And so the question often becomes, well, what do we do with that? Yeah. Well, what we do with that is community. Yeah. We learn through community to trust each other again. We learn through community that this person is not a one-dimensional cardboard cutout of a caricature. This is a human being, and we have a lot more in common than we thought. And we learn in community to listen more than just espouse our viewpoints.
Yeah. And I think community reminds us that of the things that are more important that we share as humans. Yeah. We may be diametrically opposed to someone politically, but if that person has a 12-year-old daughter or a kid and they're worried about their welfare and they're spending time and energy to make sure their kids have a good life, well, we have that in common. Yeah. So who cares about the other? Yes. And so I think that community, whether people are able to come to Dreamers Live or not, community is more important now than ever. Yeah. Even though there's more technology and more ways to communicate online than ever, people are lonelier than they ever have been. Yes. The challenge with creating community, and I'm just going to call people out right now, is that it's not always easy. It takes some work.
It does.
And I think people, if they think to themselves, I'm a little lonely, I don't have somebody to talk to, I think they're waiting for someone to approach them, hoping that will magically happen from the time that they walk from the grocery store line to their car or something like that. I don't understand. And so the thing is that you have to be the one often, always, really, that takes initiative. And even coming to something like Dreamers Live, some of you guys have wanted to come, and I'm not shaming you or anything, but it's going to take some work. Yes. You're going to have to actually get out of your pajamas, which is a bummer. Maybe we should have a PJ night.
We could do a PJ night.
But anyway, and you may have to push past your comfort zone. I hate that term, but enough to say hello to someone or to meet some people, and we're there to help. But it will take your first steps, just like anything good in life or worth it in life always takes your initiative.
Yeah. What I love about that whole process is that you and I are not the same. even now as when we started Dreamers 3 years ago, especially me. You've always been much more outgoing and connective that way. I'm growing in the sense of my awareness of how much I need people. I would have described myself as an introvert. I think I used that, at times I used that as an excuse because I didn't want to put forth the effort or put myself in a vulnerable state.
Sure.
Because it is sometimes hard to present yourself to a person. If you're insecure like I am, you go and present yourself to a person and you're thinking, do I have enough conversation here? Do I, all those things. And so,
how are you?
Hello, my name is Jay.
I am Jay.
And, but I have found that the whole thing about community is that it begets more community. So the more you begin to invest in friendships and relationships and connections, the deeper that becomes, the easier it becomes, and the more we care about people. And it's more than just sayings and phrases, but it really is breaking some barriers down. We were in a big event. We got asked to help volunteer for a big event.
I was going to talk about this.
Oh, sorry.
No, I don't ever know what we're talking about when we sit down, but go ahead.
No, but this was a week or two ago. It was two weeks ago or so, and some friends of ours asked us to be a part of that. And I know these friends, and I know how they feel politically, and it's different than what you and I feel. So, based on the cultural norms, that would be a pretty tremendous hurdle to get past. These people believe opposite of us politically and maybe even theologically. And so, and yet we've known these people for a long time, and yet we call them friends. Yeah. And yet being a part of this event together, of all the things that we agree upon, helping other people and this thing, and working with them on that stuff. And then before it's over, you realize you have a great deal of love and affection and admiration for these people that don't think like you do.
Because helping people and doing what we were doing that day was way more important than what any of us believe politically or philosophically or theologically. And it was a really good reminder.
So before it's all over, we're trading text messages and stuff, and they're saying, hey, I just count myself lucky or blessed, I don't forget the language, that you're my friend. Yeah. To call you a friend means a lot to me. Yeah. I'm thinking, if I had not engaged in community with them, if I had remained in
when
this
they had
place,
asked for help, if you thought, that's going to be
or
awkward.
if we had let politics be the decider in that relationship, I'm missing out. Right. And if we're only going to be with the people that agree with us, we're going to be in a very poor state.
Yeah, such a dangerous place to be. Yeah. I also observed something else that same day, which was interesting, and maybe some of our listeners, that made it sound like we have some, have found this to be true. And I am communicative by nature, but have you ever noticed that you're in a situation where you're there for a reason and you're mixed in with a bunch of people that you don't know?
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that the people kind of just stand around without doing anything, kind of waiting for the job that they're supposed to do or the function? And so you're there, but you've never met. And just watch how long it takes for someone to say anything.
Yes.
And so what I have started doing in life, and it's just because people don't really think about it, I will see there's a group of people, some people that I don't know, and so I will just be the one to break the barrier. Yeah. And I will say, hello, I'm Ann Jeanette.
Right.
That's kind of long. You can call me AJ. And they'll be like, hi, I'm Rachel. And then I'm like, how did you get involved with this? So, but if no one does that, people will literally perform the function that they're doing without speaking to one another. Yeah. Isn't that weird? And why is it so hard for us to do that? One thing, you know?
It's insecurity and it's effort and the fear of embarrassment at some level that we're going to seem one way or the other, or that they're not going to respond, the way, think about two things. One, as we've often joked, that that's the value, that's the weird hang up for humans. I don't think any other animal operates quite like that. Like a dog never hides its emotions. If a dog is happy, the dog is happy. If the dog is scared, the dog is scared. There's never putting on a brave face for a dog.
Right.
The other thing I thought about in that event was, of course, we were all wearing name tags.
Yes.
And I hate name tags.
Right, but
and yet
they're helpful.
I was like, man, maybe we should become a society of name tag people, because it was amazing to just look at a person and say, hey, Dave, this is great. And
Gary,
Rachel.
Good job, Gary.
Yeah. And so one of the volunteers was picking up trash because we were kind of in between things, and no one told this volunteer to go start picking up trash or wiping. They just saw a need and started to resolve it. And so to be able to say, hey, Rachel, thank you. That's really very kind of you. What a great. And then the fact that I called that person by their name meant a great deal. It was as if they were being seen in some way.
Yeah.
It created a certain level of intimacy. And then I knew that person's name from the rest of the time.
Yeah. And next time you see them in town, you'll maybe remember.
I'll still call them, hey.
What's up? Hey, man.
And I just want, listeners, friends, if you see me out in the city, just know that I will not remember your name out of context. I try. I don't know what the disease is, but I know I have it, and it's not for lack of affection or love. I will see you. I will meet you. I will repeat your name in my brain 3 or 4 times, and then I will be 5 minutes later and not remember who it is. So it's not that I don't love you. I just am impaired in some way.
You are.
But that's why I think the name tag thing is fantastic.
The name tag thing is good. Okay, one little name trick, quick aside, that this helps me a little bit. I have to, a lot of times when I meet somebody, and this is normal, I'm thinking about how I'm coming over.
Right.
Did I say my name right? Is there booger on my face or whatever? That's disgusting.
And all those things are true.
But no, one of the things that helps me is I will repeat the name 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Dina. Hello, Dina.
Right.
Dina, how do you spell Dina? D-E-E-N-A or D-E-A-N-A? And then sometimes that puts a visual in my mind, so that's one thing. But
I dig the name. When we go to coffee shops or Starbucks or something like that, I love referring to that person by their name.
You do.
And so, oh man, thank you, Cynthia. That was fantastic. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, the guy that there's a little sandwich place that you and I go through. And
I noticed you knew his name the other day.
I do know his name.
You scared him.
He wore his name tag one day, and I memorized it. And
probably because you could see it. I kind of
like saying his name because he is so incredibly grumpy. I know which
one you're talking about.
You're like, I'm so sorry. I'm here ordering a sandwich from you at your sandwich shop.
Yeah, he goes like a spinach wrap, and you're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry for spending my money. So anyway, I get a certain perverse thrill out of calling him by name.
Maybe you guys will be friends.
Yeah,
it could happen.
Yeah, but the thing about knowing someone's name, and so at Dreamers we've done this thing that was actually your sister's idea, that we'll hand everybody a little slip of paper.
Yes, that was
and it's
cool.
got like 2 or 3 little slots on it, and say, hey, you're going to meet someone tonight.
Yeah.
Write down their name and whatever contact information they feel comfortable giving you. So that might be, hey, find me on Facebook, or that might be, here's my phone number for texting, or here's my email, or whatever. Yeah. And whatever that thing is, my MySpace account.
Stop! Nobody does that anymore.
AOL email account. Both my parents have AOL accounts still.
Well, when you fire one up, why take it down? No, but that's true. I mean, it's we kind of have to assertively encourage them. Yeah. So go to coffee, get a drink, whatever. Yes. Yeah. One thing at our last Dreamers Live, you have these moments that we're so busy because there's so many people, and we've got to clean up and all this stuff. But there was this really sweet moment where we do like to take pictures so that everybody can see, say, hey, this is cool. Come on. It's a good way to promote the next one.
Well, it makes it easier for people when they see their friends at the event and oh, this must be a safe thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so we have a little area up in our loft that's kind of like a little lounge seating. Yeah. It's almost like a booth, but there's not a built-in table. But we wedged like 6 ladies in there, and some of them knew each other and some had just met at Dreamers that night, and took some pictures. It was really cute. Yeah. And one of the ladies that by nature is very shy, and it was her first time, but I can tell she feels like she can trust us and she's getting to know people. She texted me the next day. She said, hello, AJ. She said, I had such a nice time at Dreamers. I was wondering if you could send me a picture of me and the ladies at the lounge. And it was so sweet because knowing that person and how shy she is, it was important important to her. That picture meant I have friends.
Yes.
It meant I am part of something.
Well, not only that, we took the photo and everything, but then all the girls just stayed there. No one got up and left. No one said thanks for the picture.
Because we wedged them in, and then
they were all just there, and so they made conversation, and they learned each other's names, and they had that connection. It's really sweet that way.
Yeah, so. And these are things that people you can do these in your own life. I mean, it does take some effort, but think about the different groups that you're part of. I'm getting ready to go to a parent support group meeting, and so humans are afflicted with the thing where they feel like they just have to be part of a meeting and not to get to know one another.
Right.
And so I know that it will be on me, and that's okay, to introduce myself to a couple of people. And we're all there because we have kids in middle school. Yeah. We care about their safety, and we want to support the teachers and make the school a better place, right? Yes. So it does take some initiative. It will take some work, but the next time it doesn't take as much work because now I'm going to know those people. Yeah. But think about the different groups you're part of. I mean, it may be church or a club or organization or even at work. Yeah. It will take you taking the initiative and making the first step, but it will be worth it.
Yes.
And when you do that, the other person knows it's safe.
Yeah.
These seem like basic skills, but yet we're in groups of adults all the time, and this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's easy, but I know before I go in that it's going to take a little bit of work for me. Yeah. But I know that next time it'll be easier.
Yes, absolutely.
And worth it.
Friends, I want to leave you with two things along those lines.
Two things?
Two things. One,
homework assignment or?
Kind of.
Okay.
One, the community thing is so important, and I know it's difficult. It's difficult for a lot of people because you work in a cubicle, you work in a space, and so maybe you have limited contact with people outside of that. Maybe you're a stay-at-home parent, and that becomes a whole other set of challenges. But I cannot appreciate just how important community is, and not just one community, but circles.
Yes,
lots of community in that, and so. It's not enough just to be in a community of your church group or a community of your family group or parent group, but spread that out.
All the places of your life.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Make
agree.
that investment. And no one has ever been disappointed to be part of a community.
Yeah.
No one's ever been disappointed and said, I just got to get rid of some of these friends.
Yeah.
I just know too many people.
Right.
No one's ever said that.
Yeah.
So do that. That's important. And then the other thing I think that's so important, and like Anjanette said, if you're running out, if you're intimidated by this concept, we will give you a quick tool that you can use all the time, and that's ask questions.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, not just the one word answers like how are you?
Don't ask what you do for a living.
No, but you can ask things later. You can say things like, "What's your weekend look like? Have you had a busy week? What's that about?"
One of my favorites in the summertime, I would say, "Are you guys going to get to travel at all this summer?"
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people, even if they're not taking a fancy trip.
Did you grow up here?
Right.
Where are you from?
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. What kind of things are your kids interested in?
Yeah, right.
And you have to think a little bit. And sometimes I'll do that before I go into like a party or an event where I know we're going to have to small talk. Is I will think real quick. Okay, what's my question for the night? Don't be weird about it. Because remember that one person we knew that was so weird? They were like, "What's your deepest thought today, Trevor?" And you're like, "Don't
what's
be
going
weird.
through your mind right now?"
Yeah,
I don't know,
dude,
Trevor.
You're weird.
Yeah.
So
just trying to figure out if there's onions in the guacamole dip. I don't know. I mean,
I love
back
onions.
it off. So the whole thing about questions are the best tool. Questions and like you said, I know it seems a little weird, but sometimes having a couple questions in mind before you walk into a scenario like that makes it easier. And if you do that a little bit, you do get more comfortable with it. You get easier with it, but you'll be amazed at how quickly that will break into conversation. Not everybody. Some people are just some people are just a little blocked off somehow. But in general, people really do like to talk about themselves because it's the thing they know the most about.
Right.
So when
sometimes
you ask,
it only takes one question.
Yeah.
And then
so when you ask them a couple
Whoa.
questions about themselves, that's where they feel comfortable talking about those things, and then sometimes that gives you a place to connect. And so do those two things. Make community a priority for yourself. Expand your community beyond one little circle, not just a community of parents, not just your church group, not just whatever.
Right.
And as a secret tool, just get very comfortable asking questions. How's your day been? What's your day been? Have you got a chance to travel this summer at all? This, and this. And so that will make it a place that you can connect with people.
Yes.
Also, just a reminder, of course, we would love it if you would thumbs up the podcast and wherever you're enjoying it. We would love for you to share it and all that kind of stuff.
And if you ignored the opening message about the text.
But right now, please go copy the link and either email this podcast or text this podcast or fax this podcast.
Nobody faxes.
Well,
whatever.
You can use it on your pager.
Yeah.
So please stop what you're doing. Send this to somebody else right now. We really want to expand
I really
this.
enjoy this.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it needs a little endorsement. This is something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So a couple of friends of mine that chat about different things, thought you might like it.
Yes. And if you are in the Oklahoma area, we'll be doing a Dreamers Live event live and in person near you soon. We're in here in the Ville.
Yes, on October 25th.
Yes, and then we're in Broken Arrow in the Big BA on November 8th.
Yes,
at
looking forward to it.
Rivendell Books and Baubles.
Yes, Rivendell Books and Baubles. It's going to be really fun, and then we're going to hit a brewery after that.
Absolutely.
And did you realize that that's after the election will take place in your mind?
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to need some just time to not talk about politics, hang out, have fun, and remember that what makes us human is way more than just what we think or believe.
Absolutely.
So.
In the meanwhile, thank you for listening and joining us. As always, we love being with you, and we're so appreciative that you would take time to be with us, and we can't wait to see you soon. Always feel free to email us and ask questions or suggest topics, and we'll do all that. But until next time, peace out.